Hello, welcome. This is now actually working. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello world, all that sort of stuff. I am here. I have a brief story to tell, but I am so late. It's not actually really a story, but I'm going to get going with making some video tutorials this morning. Just want to quickly say, which is always good to say at the beginning, if you happen to be watching this in the archives, not live, you can check the description of this video, and there will be time-coded links to various parts of the video that have the sort of key tutorial parts. In addition, it's my intention that today will actually end up as a separate playlist of several different about 10-minute tutorial videos. So that's what's, if you're just here. Now, one thing I'm wondering is, how's the focus? The camera got moved around and now I'm realizing I didn't refocus it. Can you see me okay? Let me know, can you hear me? I'm not seeing anyone in the, okay, so if you're watching on YouTube in particular, please let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay. And I'm going to just check in. I see there are 8 viewers here. And all right, so I haven't seen, I'm not seeing any messages, which is a little bit distracting. Oh, okay, good, okay. So welcome. I'm a little bit out of sorts, as I usually am, but I'm extra out of sorts this morning because I had all these ambitions of getting down here early because I wanted to set up audio finally on these machines to do some p5.js sound tutorials, which I'm still going to do today. But I had a problem where I got on the subway and then I waited for about 5 minutes, and then about 10 minutes, and then around 15 minutes, and there were some signal problems, so I got out of the subway. I have my bike helmet with me because I only ride a bike with a helmet, and I went to walk to the city bike station. Said no city bikes available at the station. Their system was down. So I walked 5 more blocks, still down, 5 more blocks, still down, and then finally I got a city bike. And then I actually had to pee because so much had happened and it had been so long, and I went and found a restroom, and then I got a city bike, and so now it's like, by the time I got down here, it was even after 10 o'clock, where I should have been here a little shortly after 9. So today is really going to be set everything up during the live stream, but it's about 10:30 right now. I have at least an hour and a half, if not a little bit more. We'll see how the heat does. You can see I have a fan going in here. I can make my shirt kind of like bubble up. It's not really working that well. How's the audio, by the way? Can you guys hear the hum of the fan if I'm silent? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, I look smaller than on older videos. Yeah, the camera got moved around, so I might be smaller, a little bit lower. But you know, I'll work. As long as you guys can see me and hear me and see the screen behind me, then I think we're in good shape. Okay, I'm just going to check a few things to see what's working. And so I see that I'm here. I see that Twitch is going. Pathabil on Twitch says, barely hear the fan. Audio is good. That's good. I'm going to just check Facebook here. I'm curious. I don't know. I never know how to find if I'm actually, yeah, there I am. Okay. So I'm coming back to YouTube here. Sound is good. A little bit not annoying. Well, the reality is I definitely have to have these fans on. I only have one of the halogen lights on right now. I'm going to leave the second one off until I'm using the whiteboard, and then maybe I'll turn it on. So that'll definitely keep the heat down. I have some windows open. I'm thinking about investigating in a air conditioning unit, a floor air conditioning unit, which I might use since I'm going to be doing this over the summer. Let me talk a little bit about schedule for a second, just in kind of getting warmed up. So first, if you're new here, which most of you probably aren't, but if you're new, my name is Dan. I am in a closet, essentially, at the School for Poetic Computation, which is downtown New York City in the West Village. There's actually a summer program here of 10 weeks that started last week. There are students, perhaps in the hallway. I can't see any to wave to right now. Maybe some of them will come in and ask a question or say hi or present their work at some point if they're interested. But I am once a week, at least once a week, doing a live session where I do creative coding video tutorials. Wide range of topics. Some bigger things that I want to definitely, a lot of the sort of videos are about just kind of random things from math or physics or different algorithms and implementing them to make graphics on the screen. But a couple bigger topics that I hope to tackle this summer is, one is the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to walk over here to get a prop. This is very unnecessary. But I have this Raspberry Pi 2. with a Pi cam on it. And one of the, I want to do a series of tutorials of running processing on the Pi, making a graphics thing run, and then accessing the camera, and then also using something called OpenFrame to sort of turn it into kind of an art installation, screen-based thing. So that's the thing I have on my agenda for the summer. Another thing I would like to do is just some tutorials on Chrome extensions. I think that could be an interesting topic. I have a wide variety of ideas. I also have, this is related to my air conditioning unit. I'll pull this up very briefly if you're new here. If you're interested in supporting my channel, you can go to patreon.com/codingrainbow. You can sign up to pay a monthly fee. Completely optional, only if you feel so inclined and have the means to do so. And what I'm doing is creating a private Slack channel where people can ask questions and discuss code examples with their subscription to this Patreon. So that's all. I don't want to plug that too much. That's all I'll say about that. So schedule. So let me talk briefly about schedule. Okay, so my commitment, part of the reason of doing the Patreon in a way for me was to like solidify the fact that I'm really committing to doing this on a weekly basis. My goal is actually to do this twice a week, but the reason why but the reason why I don't think that's realistic right now is because this Wednesday I have a summons for jury duty here in New York City. So that's why I'm here today doing this live stream today. I have jury duty on Wednesday. You know, typically that lasts 1 or 2 days. If who knows, maybe I'll end up on a trial for months of my life, in which case I will turn off the Patreon probably, or I'll just come. Actually, if I get on a long trial, I'm going to find a way to do a couple evenings once a week. But that's going to make it a little trickier for me while I have jury duty to do twice a week. But I'm going to do that once a week all the way through August. There's 1 week in July where I'm out of town, and possibly 1 or 2 weeks in August where I'm out of town. And if during what I'm going to do, at least August, I don't know what I'll do yet, but for July, when I say weekly, that means at least 4 sessions per month. In which case, what I'll do is just double up 1 week. And actually, I've been doing more than that. So I'm hoping to do more than that, but I just want to have a kind of core minimum commitment that I know I can hit. And so I think that's kind of what I'm doing. And then we'll have to revisit this discussion come September. September, I go back to my day job, so to speak, which is teaching courses at NYU. And I hope to at least be able to carve out a day per week where I come and do this. And what I'm going to do is record videos that go along with the course content that I'm doing at NYU at the same time. So those videos can be for the students there and for the world as well. So this is an ongoing experiment in education, in the internet, in all that sort of stuff. And I look forward to your feedback and seeing how it goes. Okay. Yada, 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 yada. I have water. No tea or coffee today. And I think I'm ready to get going. Okay, so today, people have been asking about this. People of the internet have been asking about this for a while. Let me see if I can pull up my, how do I find this? Shoot, okay, so time out, hold on. What I'm going to do a couple things here. What I'm going to do today is some tutorials about sound in the browser. And what I want to do is find my outline. And in order to find my outline, I've got to go to, hold on. I think if I go to my public Twitter feed, I think I posted this recently. I can scroll down. By the way, this was a photo that I took last night of a rainbow in New York City. And I take this as a sign, I don't know, to do Coding Rainbow today. Here we go. I don't know what I'm retweeting here. Here it is. Okay, so here's my outline. There we go, perfect. So I found this. So this is essentially what I'm planning on. Oh, I'm totally in a different place. Oh, no, I'm not. This is just in a different place. Okay, so this is what this is my outline. Literally this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is going to be a new playlist on YouTube with currently 8 videos, possibly more with some other ideas here, about sound in the browser using the p5.js sound library. There are other wonderful sound frameworks and libraries for doing sound in the browser. One that I'll briefly mention is tone.js, and perhaps I'll consider doing a tutorial about tone.js. I should say, right at the right set, I am not an audio person. I did play the violin for 12 years, actually, as a youth. And I play the piano, and I love music, and I love particularly musical theater. I don't think I filled out my Hamilton lottery yet today. I'm trying to get Hamilton tickets. Somebody go ahead and never mind. I'll take care of that later. Oh no, Monday. I think Monday the show's dark, so I'm not actually even missing the lottery today. Anyway, but I am not someone with an expertise in really a particular expertise in music or digital audio. It's not. But however, I think that I can handle tackling at least these basic concepts, and I imagine that you, the people of the internet, have ideas and thoughts and feedback that you're able to give me to correct certain things, you know, when we start getting down to the nitty-gritty of sound waves and sound synthesis and that sort of thing. But I'm going to stay at a kind of basic level. So let me talk through this. The very first thing is that I want to look at is just loading a file and playing it. So we'll load like an MP3 file to be the sort of background of a p5.js sketch running in the browser. I want to look at playing sound effects, like short sound snippets. Maybe I'll pull up that old Flower Invaders game that I made in the previous tutorials, where I'll add some sound effects to it. Want to look at how to manipulate sound in real time, so change its volume, change its rate, pitch, that sort of thing. And then, you know, the next 3 here are really a category of sort of just generating sound from nothing, sort of sound synthesis. So, you know, the ultimate goal here is to maybe make a little melody generator, or, you know, we could use an L system, for example, to play a tune instead of drawing a fractal tree, or make a little interactive piano in the browser. Those types of things are things that I'll look at. And then also, actually a quick and easy one is just getting input from the microphone and having things be responsive to audio. And then, you know, just volume and also pitch and that sort of thing, which is, we'll deal with FFT analysis. I have heard of Sonic Pi, is asked in the chat. Oh, are you only, it's also asked in the chat, are you only going to do Java coding? Can you do C++? Well, currently, yeah, I got a long list of things to get to and a lot of examples. Currently, I'm doing processing, which is Java, and p5.js, which is JavaScript. I'm not opposed to doing some C++ at some point, but it's just not really in the near-term future in terms of what I'm doing. And I really need to fix, if I could ever just get here early and spend a day working on these camera setups, I would get rid of some of these issues I'm having. Okay, so I think I'm getting ready to get to, okay, so here's the thing. I need you, the viewer, to be able to hear the audio that's coming out of this computer right here. Right over here. It's actually over here. So when I was going to get here at 9 a.m. this morning, I was going to have a full hour to set that up. But we're going to do this together. So you'll learn a little bit about how my setup works. So I need to look for something called Wirecast Desktop Presenter. And I just wonder if I already downloaded this here. No, doesn't look like it. Okay, so what Desktop Presenter is going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me, I'm using a software called Wirecast to do the live streaming. And Oliver makes a suggestion that I should code a noise suppression for the fan. That's not a bad idea. I think I'm a little bit blurry. Am I a little blurry? I mean, the screen shouldn't be blurry. This shouldn't be blurry. But I think I'm a little blurry. Maybe that's nice. I have some you know, imperfections, and maybe the soft blur makes me look more beautiful. What do you think? Okay. So what I'm using Wirecast. That's the software that's running the live stream. And what Wirecast has, what I can do with Wirecast is I can download this software called Desktop Presenter. And then, so the Wirecast is not running on this laptop. It's running on a separate computer. And so what I need to do, Desktop Presenter should allow me to pipe the audio from this laptop. The video is actually going from this laptop, but it's going through an HDMI cable. This will actually allow me to do the video too. So I'm going to have to install and set this up. This is producing the show during the show, 100%. Let's open this up. I would have liked to have done this in advance, but okay, so now here, I can put desktop presenter in applications. And I'm going to go here now to desktop presenter and run this. Okay. Now, capture audio. Here's my IP address. And now I don't care about the video, so I guess I can leave that to be whatever I want it to be. Okay, so I'm looking at this. Now, here's what I've got to do next. Can I not just do audio over HDMI? Yes, Oliver makes a good suggestion. I could do audio over HDMI, but the way that I'm doing it, the audio is gone because it's going through a Blackmagic box and then through, it's like, there's too many things it's going through. So I'm going to do the audio this way. There might be a way, but that I won't be able to figure out right now. Okay, so now I'm going to go do something that you won't be able to see, unfortunately, but I will talk you through it a little bit while I'm doing it. Because what I'm doing is I'm going over to Wirecast, and that software is on a separate screen that you can't actually see. I could allow you to see it if I did something else, but whatever. So I'm also cutting out because I'm walking over to this computer, which is out of the camera view. So what I am doing, oh, and by the way, I forgot to record to disk. In the chat, you should always remind me, are you recording to disk? So I'm going to hit record to disk. So now, from this point on, I have a disk backup of everything. And now I'm going to go to sources, show source settings, and remote desktop presenter. I think it's Daniel's MacBook Pro. There it is. I see it. I wonder, by the way, how fast that is. I could use this instead of it. But anyway, when I do the Raspberry Pi, I'm going to use this. So with audio, okay, great. So now I have that as a source. Remind me tomorrow. And okay, so I have that as a source. And now when I go into this shot, I'm going to do change audio. And I'm going to say Daniel. So I'm now adding the audio from this laptop. So I don't know yet. So turn your volume down maybe, just in case something comes on really loud. Okay. So now you should still be able to hear me. Change audio, and you should have both my laptop's audio and the mic's audio. So now I'm going to go to Twitter because I need to also find some music. And there was a guy on Twitter who is the creator of the p5.js sound library, suggested to me that I look for Creative Commons tracks that OK derivative works at Free Music Archive. So this is what I want to use. I want to use sounds. I want to use sound that I can use freely on this live stream and in my videos without being in any sort of copyright violation. And I do, by the way, have a Coding Rainbow theme song that's coming, and I would use that, but I don't have that yet. Okay, so let me go to this link. So I should be able to search for, oh look, could this possibly be, look at this, recently added Rainbow Street. Now I don't know, unfortunately, if if this allows derivative works. So how do I find that before I play it? Oh, I don't want to play it. Can you hear this, by the way? Oh, no, you can't hear. Oh, whoa. The sound is actually going out through the HDMI. Let me just play some sound. Because I at least have, I would expect that if I go to, let's go to p5js.org. And let's go to, ooh, this is a new, Magnify by Kyle McDonald. I love this. Cool. New artwork on the p5js homepage. I'm going to go to Learn, Examples. Let's look for sound. Anybody see sound? Well, let's look for this one, song. Let's see if this still works. Okay. Could you guys hear that? I think you can. I see green. I don't hear it, but I see green bars. So let me go to System Preferences. Okay, how's the volume on that, by the way? Okay, let me do this. Okay. Okay, I hear it now. Now I don't see it. There's a delay, like 1 second. Interesting. The weird thing now is, now that I switched it to internal speakers, can't hear it now. Hold on. Yeah, so interestingly enough, I need to be able to hear it too. So if I switch it here, yeah, and it's delayed. Okay, now I wonder if maybe, this is not going well. All right, let me just put on some audio. Let's put on, so how do I search? Allows for remix or use in a video. Let me look for rainbow. After the rainbow comes rainbow. That sounds nice. Let me play that. Okay, so I hear it coming out of my laptop speakers. You probably hear it a little bit through my mic, especially if I move my mic close. Boy, you can really see my bald spot when I do that. Okay, so let me see now if I can, how I can. Oh, I have an idea. The delay doesn't bother me so much because that could be a reality. Can I get audio from here? Hold on. Oh, wait. I have an idea. I think Oliver's suggestion might have been right all along, if it's going out through HDMI. It gets converted, though. Let's see. Which one is it? It's whiteboard Canon. I'm doing some stuff to the audio, so turn down your mic again. And then, oh, but I won't be able to hear it if I do this. Maybe I just need different speakers. Okay, Dad, you can definitely hear it now, right? Okay, now you can hear it. I bet you I got rid of the delay. So it's actually just going, it's actually going straight through. So right now it's going straight through the HDMI, which, duh. Oliver is all, I don't know why Oliver should just, someone buy Oliver a plane ticket, send him to New York to do these tutorials, because I always get it wrong and he always fixes it for me. It's brilliant. Okay, so now the question is there a way for me to hear it also? What if I turn the volume on? This is dangerous, but it's too loud. Okay. Okay, that I can do. That I can fix, I think. I think I just need a mixing board. Maybe I won't do audio today, and I just should do some other topics. I'm sure there's a way to turn it down. I could also just turn my mic up and turn everything down. Oh, wait. Of course. Here. Right? Can I do this? Oh, no. It won't let me do the, if it's out through HDMI, it won't let me do the control. Okay, sorry. I paused the sound. All right, so this is not going very well. I think I need some additional equipment. I think I need probably to do, audio out through the headphone jack to a mixing board, to speakers, and to the input. Yeah. All right. Boy, I had ambitions of doing sound stuff today, but maybe it's better to just move on from that. And I will get. So let's make a list of. Let me think of what I need. I need a mixing board with multiple inputs because the mic can go into it. There must be such thing as like a USB mixing board, right? Where I can just plug USB into a Mac Pro, and then I can plug multiple regular audio cables into it and like adjust the volume and send them all into Wirecast. Okay, Oliver is giving me another piece of advice. Let's just try multiple outputs. I'm looking at this, set up an aggregate device. Is this worth doing? Let's see. Let me Google this here so you guys can see how to combine multiple audio interfaces. Mac. This should come up with this page. Yeah. All right, what do you guys think? Worth trying? By creating an aggregate device, you can use more than one audio interface at the same time with audio applications like Logic, blah, 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 blah. So, but is this for just multi-output? Oh boy. Oh boy. What do you guys think? Am I getting too ambitious here? I think maybe a mixer would be better than going through this. I guess I could try this. Let me give myself, if it's 11 a.m. and I don't have any audio stuff working in a way that's workable, I'm moving on. Okay? So, why not give this a try? This is learning something too. Okay, so utilities, go, audio MIDI setup application. Let me just. All right, audio devices. Here we go. Hit the plus button on the bottom left-hand corner. Create what I want is a multi-output device, I think. Multi-output device. And then what I want to use is built-in output and HDMI. What's drift correction? Anybody know what drift correction is? Maybe I should have drift correction on. Configure speakers. I don't need to do that. Okay. Well, this seems pretty easy. All right, let me take off the drift correction. Okay. And close this. And now I should be able to go to System Preferences, Multi-Output Device. So I should be able to hear now if I play it. Now, again, this might. The problem is, Lucas asked, the problem is that I want to hear the sound and stream it at the same time because I feel like I can't properly do a tutorial. If, I could hope that it's working and playing this, but if I can't hear it, I feel like it's no good. Okay, I hear it, and it's very loud. I see it's going out through the screen. Okay, it's very loud. Let's see if it lets me control. Does not let me control this output. So I need to do the levels. This is why a mixer would be really useful. Now, but what I can do is I can turn my mic up and then all of the audio down, which should help. So the first thing I'm going to do is make everything quieter to try to get, I'm turning, in Wirecast, I'm turning everything down. And I'm going to play the music and let me know how the music sounds. Now, I'm talking. You probably still can't hear me because I haven't turned my mic up yet. How is that? And do you hear like a weird like glitch because you have both? It's coming in through my mic. Do you think I should 50% too loud? Okay. Better? And does it still sound, now again, I'm going to pump my volume up, but does it still sound weird because it's coming, you don't hear the mic, okay. Test, test, okay. Do you hear me better now if I talk? Do you hear, oh wait, maybe you don't hear the mic at all. No, the mic should be coming through. Can anybody tell me that they hear me and the music? I'm peaking, okay. How is it sounding now? You can hear me and the music like in a reasonable way. The music is still too loud. There must be a way. Oh, you know what? Well, one thing I'll be able to do is just control the volume in my sketches. So I'm too quiet. Am I still too quiet? Music is too loud. This is why so I definitely need a mixing board. Let me see if I can get this to like work today. I'm going to turn myself back up. Test, test, test. Okay, let me get the volume. You guys don't like that tune? I was going to use that one. How's the volume on me right now? How's the volume on me? I'm snapping my fingers. The problem is you guys are a little behind me. Just control audio in the sketch. Yeah, it's okay. Is the volume on me okay? Volume is good. Volume good. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to have to do is on the music, I'm going to have to deal with the fact that there's got to be a way. And hold on a second. I can't imagine that. Let me just check Wirecast. There's got to be a way in Wirecast to change the input level on multiple audio feeds. Sources, show source settings. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that I don't see that in an obvious way. Yeah, that's kind of nuts that. Oh wait, hold on, audio. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have a way for me to like, I guess they just assume that you're going to use a mixing board. All right, I'm moving on here. Yeah, Wirecast is not, I need a mixing board, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's move on from this. This is going to have to be good enough. Oh wait, I need that. Okay, so I need to find, something to use. Search music. It needs to be a Creative Commons license, allow for use in remix or video, and all moods. I don't know. Is my audio delay back? I don't think so. Wait. Okay, hold on, everybody. No, it's not. Okay, jazz. Okay, let's look for jazz. Where's jazz? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There is no jazz. Oh, it's all moods. I'm going back to rainbow. Okay, let's see. I should probably pick something that's instrumental. Okay. After the rain comes rainbow. This is also a kind of quietish song. A little too... You guys don't like this one? I like this one. It seems like it's sort of appropriate for me. No, people don't like that one. Okay. All right, I don't want to spend too much time. This is pretty great, actually. All right, let's. What happens if I download? Okay. Okay. So this is by the Colombians, Antique Phonograph, Just Like a Rainbow. So I'm just gonna. I want to make this a simpler. MP3 file name. So let me make sure. So what I'm going to do now is open up Atom. I'm going to use Atom as my code editor. So I'm just going to get set up here to make some. Let's go to p5.js.org. Yep. Oh, no. Whoops. That's. All right, there's an issue with translate in this version of P5, but I probably won't use translate in these examples. So that should be fine. Let me go in here. Desktop, p5.js sound, play music. Okay. And then I'm going to grab, I don't need this anymore. I need that sound file. Just like a rainbow. And then I want to go to here and open this in Atom. Just getting myself set up here. And let me move the browser over. I want to, now, I don't need this anymore. I want to open up terminal. Okay. Okay, I'm in good shape here. Let me go here and get rid of this. Oh, I need to make sure the sound library is there, and the DOM library is there. And so I'm just going to test this out before I. Yeah, I am blurry. If I go back, I think I'm in focus. Yeah. Yeah, I could have fixed the focus. Let me see if I can fix that really. The problem is I can't stand and focus the camera at the same time. Which way do I need to focus? A little more that way, I think. Better? I think that's better, right? I think I fixed that. Where's the green screen showing? Oh, down here? Yeah, it's because I don't have as much light on. So the light, I have less light on to like have it be less hot in here. Okay, all right. Let's just make sure before I do my official tutorial, let me see if this works. So I'm going to use preload first. And I will talk through all the options and how everything works. And I'm gonna say song. And song equals load sound. And now, what's the name of that file? And then, all right, let's see what happens here. Oops, we've got a problem here where, how do I stop it? I love that little scratchy record sound at the beginning. I guess if I go back, okay. So one thing, let me just, let me try to get volume here. Is that quieter? It's not the function. Okay. Okay. Song. Oh yeah. So let's look at the sound library, and I think it's probably like set volume. This is a sound file. Play, pause, loop is playing set volume. Okay. Set volume. So that's better, right? It's quieter, half volume, and you can hear me talk pretty much okay. It's gonna help me. Okay. I love this song. Okay. Now I have something to play when I have to go pee. A little bit too loud still? It's very quiet for me. Yeah. I know, but I don't know that oh boy, see, this is why I don't want to do sound tutorials. Now I realize like there's the whole thing about decibels and the logarithmic scale and all of that. I'm not ready for that. Let me go, by the way, to the page for this. Oh no, for this. Just so I can show this in the tutorial. Okay. Okay, so code here. So I just want to, sorry, I just need to get myself kind of better set up. And that's my outline. That's where the song is coming from. This is where that is. And now I want to go to p5.js. Libraries. Okay. So is playing, set volume, rate I want to use, current time, jump, get peaks, reverse buffer. All sorts of things. Oh, add cue. Ooh, I definitely want to cover add cue. There's a blue light over here, right? That's coming from this. It's a little. Well, here, I'm going to turn my other light on just now that I'm going to record something a bit more permanent. I'll probably get rid of it. Yeah, that pretty much fixed it. Okay, Okay, everyone. This is only 45 minutes of setup. I think I'm ready. So let's think about what would go into this first tutorial, because it's really simple. So I need to cover load sound. I'm making some notes here. And preload versus callback. Let's look at that. Then I want to cover set volume, rate. Play and loop. Set volume, rate. Jump is a good one. And then add cue. So, so this is my list for this first video, which is just really dealing with sound playback. So I'm going to put all of this stuff into the example. Preload versus callback, play and loop, set volume, rate, jump, and add cue. Maybe I should make that list. Guess what? When I go to the other camera, the sound is gone. I have to fix that. Sorry, everybody. That should be an easy fix. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Hold on a sec. I'm not sure if I lost. You guys hear the audio, right? Oops, oh, sorry. You guys hear me, right? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Hold on a sec. Whoops. Whiteboard key. That's it. Okay, hold on. Okay. I think I have it fixed now. Okay, now you can hear the music here too, right? We're going to do some dance focusing. Come on. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Better, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely. Are they dad moves? Yeah, that's very sad. It's true. I guess that's what it's come down to. Okay, wait. Rate. Oh, and pan. I believe pan is just pan. And I've lost my, okay, rate pan. Then I want to look at jump. I probably should do add cue in a separate video, maybe jump also. But this is my list for just music, sound, playback. Okay. Okay, we're just about ready to make an actual video. Okay, hello, this is where the camera is, by the way. I'm sort of lost in my own thoughts here. Okay, so I wish there was a way for me to just like mute. I wish there was a way for, I just need that mixing board. I really actually want to get a whole like board for doing various like sound drops during this, which is probably a terrible idea. I got to get started with these videos. Okay, so this first one, I'm about to record it. I mean, I'm already recording. I'm going to cycle the cameras. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the music playing in the background to start. And on Chrome, oh, there's a mute. Where's the mute tab? Where is that on Chrome? Tab, speaker icon? Oh, so like if I do this. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Internet. I'm totally, by the way, going to make a, I got to make one where like the little a character dances to music. I think that'll be fun in p5.js. Okay. 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 Okay, so here we go. Is anybody still watching? I'm amazed. All right, so I'm going to do this first video, and the first thing I'm going to do is introduce the idea. Let me just check pan, by the way. Pan, yeah, pan, okay. I'm going to introduce the idea of sound in p5.js and the sound library. And then I'm going to load the sound file, play it, and run through these various things. Okay, great. Sorry, oh, I'm minimizing everything. Here we go. Oops, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna have the music playing in the background for the start of this particular video. Hello. Wait, no, that's not good. I think I should wander in. Okay. Oh, but. Hello and welcome to a p5.js video about sound. That was kind of pathetic, but I just had to do it. I'm going to mute this right now. What I have here is a p5.js sketch that is playing a sound file. And this is a first video in a playlist series of videos about working with sound in p5.js, where I will cover things from playing back music, sound effects, sound synthesis, and playing melodies, beat detection, also cueing things to happen at certain points in the music. This is my random list of topics in my head right now. But this very first video, all I want to do is kind of start with this idea of loading a sound. So the very first thing that I want to look at with you, the viewer, listener here, is how to load a sound file. Now, there are lots of different sound file formats. I'm going to use sound file format MP3. And the function that I want to use is in P5 is this function called load sound. So what load sound does, and in here, the argument that load sound requires is a file name. You can actually give it an array of several different file names if you have multiple, if you have that same sound file in multiple formats, and then different browsers, based on what formats are compatible, will kind of like pick the right one all magically behind the scenes. But I'm going to skip all that, and I'm just going to pass in the MP3 file here. So let me show you the gist of how this works. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to my Finder and desktop. I have this folder here called Play Music, and in that folder is a MP3 file that is called Just Like a Rainbow by the Colombians. So this, just to give credit where credit is due, this particular track is available on Free Music Archive, Creative Commons license, available for derivative work, so I'm using it in this video. It's got a nice old-timey sound to it that you already heard. And what I'm going to do is now go to my code, and I realize I already wrote the code for this, so I'm going to quickly delete that code. Let's quickly delete that code. Quickly delete that code. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. It's invisible. I'm going to, like, Men in Black, erase your memory thing. Okay, but anyway, so the first thing you need is a variable. So you need a variable to keep track of a reference to whatever you're going to load with load sound over here. So you might think, oh, I'll just do something like this, var song equals load sound, and then say file.mp3. This absolutely will not work because the issue with what I've written here is load sound as a p5.js function is not available outside of setup or draw. So another option I might do is, oh, I want song to be a global variable, but what I'll do is in setup, I'll say this. And then I'm going to say song.play. So this might be your kind of instinct here, which is that, what I want to do is load a particular sound and then immediately play it. The thing is, remember, you and I here in this world that we're in, we are programming in JavaScript. And JavaScript is the land of asynchronous callbacks, things happening on their own schedule. So we can't rely on the sound. This large sound file might not actually be ready by the time we get to song.play. It's still going to be loading. So we need some way to guarantee the file is loaded before we ask to play it. And there are two ways to do this. And I wrote these over here. There's the sort of preload way and the callback way. So let me first show you the preload way. So everything in JavaScript, and in the world really, in some ways, is about events. And we currently have a setup event and a draw event. Setup happens first, draw loops over and over again. But guess what? In P5, there's a secret event that actually happens before setup. It's like the pre-setup. So that thing is called preload. So what I can actually do is put things, now preload is not for just stuff that you want to have happen before setup. Preload is only for things like loading files, loading media, loading things that you want to make sure are finished loading before setup. P5 is a special way of handling this behind the scenes, but anything that you load sound, load image, load video. I mean, load video is not a function. I think it's create video, but those types of things you can put in preload. So now, if I were to run this, this would work because song.play can be called because load sound is in preload. Now, the file.mp3 is not the name of my file. So I'm going to go just grab the actual name of my file and put it in here. Whoops. And then I should be able to, and let me just actually just rename the file to Rainbow right now, just to make things a little bit simpler, looking at the code. And now I'm going to unmute this tab and hit refresh. I love that scratchy record sound. I should stop doing the dancing. Yeah, this works. Now what I'm going to do actually is in the console here, since song is a global variable, I could just do that. Stop is a function that will stop a particular song from playing. And then I could also play it again. I'll also mention here, oh, it's very loud. It's very loud. So one thing that I think we should do, I'm having an issue with my video recording sound setup thing, where the volume of the sound is a little bit too high compared to the mic. People in the chat are telling me to keep dancing, but you watching this as a video tutorial somewhere don't want to see me. I can make a separate dancing only video. There's also a theory going around the internet that I'm like a centaur or something because you can't see my legs, but I guarantee you that I have actual legs. I'm even wearing shorts today because it's very hot. Okay, although I like the idea of being, I don't know, maybe being a centaur is a little bit weird. I'm more like a unicorn, a unicornar with a little like horn and some purple hair perhaps would be nicer for me. That'd be more appropriate. Really gone off the deep end here. So what I want to do actually, we're here. I have an excuse now to also show you that I can say I can call all sorts of other functions on the particular song variable, like set volume, and I could say 0.5. So this will make the volume. The volume is a number between 0 and 1, 1 being at full volume, 0 being at no volume. So let me just do that, and I can hit refresh, and it should be a little bit quieter. I can do a little more dance. There's a little intro here. I get warmed up, and then my body just takes over. So you can hear it should be quieter now. You should be able to hear me okay. That's one thing you can do. While we're at it, why not just, let me stop it for a second. I should let it play in the background, actually. Let's let it play in the background. While we're at it, I might as well show you that I could consider doing things like slider equals create slider. So if I create a slider, then I need a couple things. I need a range between 0 and 1. I want to start at 0.5, and I want an increment of like, 0.01. And then I could always say in draw now, song.setVolume slider.value. So this would allow me to, now if I refresh this, I should get a slider here, and I can turn the volume off. I can make it louder. So this is good for me because now I can let this page run and I can keep that slider there. So there's a lot of possibilities in terms of making sound very quickly and easily interactive in the browser with a slider, a button, set volume. This is the basic idea, but I digress because I forgot that what I was here for was to talk about now. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me run this again. And I'm going to actually have it start with a volume of 0 just to not have the sound play for a second. Notice, see that message there? It's there for a while. Let me zoom in on that again. So P5, behind the scenes, that preload function, it can't make the canvas, it can't do any animation, it can't do anything until that sound file is finished loading. So behind the scenes, automatically, it just puts the text loading there in a div or something so that you can see that something is happening. So here's the thing, eventually making a fancier, more complex, elaborate project, you might actually want to have stuff, first of all, you might have like 50 sound files and you don't want the user to sit there and watch it loading for several minutes. You also might just want to have an animation start. It's fine if it takes a bit to load and it'll play once it's loaded. So this is the idea of a callback. So instead of using preload, there's a way for you to have your sketch and animation begin immediately and allow yourself to then trigger an event, a callback, when the sound has finished loading. So let's look at how to do that briefly. Okay, so where am I? I'm over here. No, I'm over here, yes. Gotta work on that button. Okay, code. Okay, so the difference is now I want to eliminate preload. Eliminate preload. And I'm going to put this back into setup. I can even keep the slider there, but I can no longer have song.play in setup because, why can I no longer have song.play in setup? Because the sound won't have finished loading yet. So what load sound can have is a second argument. That second argument being the function that's triggered when the sound is ready. So I'm going to just write in here and say, I'm going to say loaded, which means I can now write a function called loaded, and I can say song.play in that function. So look what I'm doing here. I have a global variable called song. I call load sound in setup. and then I don't actually play the sound until the sound is loaded and this callback is triggered. This is very similar to things that I looked at in some other videos with like load JSON and loading data and that type of thing. Okay, so let's see if this works. And you can see it's working. But we didn't see that. The point is we didn't see that loading thing. So I could, if I actually had some sort of animation going on here, and let's have the volume start at 0.5. You can see that well before the sound is playing, the animation has started. So that's a reason why you might want to use the callback. Now I'm starting to feel like a little bit of a crazy person, like that song is just like looping the beginning of it in my head over and over again. Okay, so how are we doing here? I think we've gotten through, let's see what I've got on my list, little mental list here. We talked about, so this is an easy one. Play, I've been using .play, and if I use .play, it just plays the song, and when it gets to the end, it stops. I could also use loop, and loop is gonna, whenever it gets to the end, it's gonna start over from the beginning. So if you have a background track for some type of animation, call loop at the beginning, it will play forever. We looked at set volume, and maybe what I'm going to do really quickly right now is look at rate and pan, and then I'm going to do jump and add cue in the next video. So let's quickly just add, looking at manipulating the sound with rate and pan. I'm going to just create a couple more sliders. Slider volume, slider rate, and slider pan. So, I'm actually going to get rid of the volume slider. And I'm going to add slider rate. And I'm going to add slider pan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say song dot. Okay, so I want to do pan. So I'm going to comment these out right now. And we'll get to in a second. Pan and rate, and slider pan, and slider rate. Okay, so what's going on here? The rate is the speed at which a sound is played back. So let's think about the range of that. Well, if I want it, let's do rate first. If I want it played back at its default rate, that value would be 1. If I want it to be half the speed, it'd be 0.5. If I want it to be double the speed, it would be 2. So let's make the rate go between 0 and 3. Let's call song.rate here in draw with the slider. So I'm going to run this. We've got the song playing again. Now, I think the second slider, let me go back here. Oh, and let me make it a little quieter. And let me get rid of the pan slider. Okay, so if I want to dance at the regular rate, I'll do that. Now let's turn it up. Ooh. So we can see how, at 5 times the speed, we've got like chipmunks territory here. And we've got a little, people in the chat are like talking about me like I'm a total crazy person, which clearly I am. Okay, but you can hear it slower now. So I don't know, maybe I just want to make the range between 0 and 1.5. So you get the idea here. You can also adjust the rate, and it's also adjusting the pitch at that point, and I'm sure there are clever sound magic math formulas to speed it up but keep the pitch, but that's not part of the sort of core default p5.js library. And then I can also add the pan. I have no idea if you'll be able to hear this. Now pan means, am I going from the left speaker to the right speaker? Where panning the sound back and forth from, if you're wearing headphones, left ear to right ear. So I'll be curious if this works at all in this particular video tutorial. Okay, so here we go. So what is the range? The range is between -1 and 1. So -1 By the way, I'd be curious what happens if you watch these videos at 2 speed. Anyway, -1 being left and 1 being right. So let's put that slider back in, and I'm just going to get rid of the rate right now and put in just that. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I have it at 0.5. Let me put it at 1. Oh. No, 0. So I want the default to be at 0. Okay, so listen. You should be hearing the sound in both ears right now. And I'm going to pan it. Now I can hear on my laptop that it's only coming out of the right speaker. And not out of the left. I'm going to pan it to the left. Now I hear it out of the left, but not at all. So I can pan back and forth, which you can imagine in real time you could create interesting effects with. Okay, everybody. I have now reached the end of this particular video about loading sound. So this is just the basics. I'm just kind of getting started here. I'm going to make a lot of videos about different things you can do with sound in the browser in p5.js, but at least we have now loading an MP3 file, playing it back, adjusting its volume, its rate, its playback, all that sort of stuff, figuring out how to load it with preload, loading with a callback, that sort of thing. And in the next video, I'm going to look at the jump and add queue function, which I think will be some interesting things that you might not be aware of as possible. Okay. The end. Okay, people of the internet, how was that? Okay, oh, there's 68 people watching, amazing. Oh, negative rates, can it go in reverse? That's an interesting question. Let me check. That's an interesting idea. What's going to happen if I go below 0? Oh, did I lose the browser? Okay, I'm going to go below 0 now. Crashed. Okay, so I somehow crashed the browser. I killed this tab. So I guess no negative rates. Now there is a way to play back backwards, and I think that might have to do with, I'm assuming that has to do with this reverse buffer thing, but yeah. Okay, so okay, volume should be more like 0.3 or 0.2. Okay. Oh, the left and right ear worked. Great. Wow, somebody's watching from Kathmandu. Hello, Kathmandu. Hello, Kunjung. Okay. Okay, so here I am. It is, what time is it now? 11:40. So I at least want to do jump and add queue. I might need a short water and pee break in a minute. Let me think here. Have I hit an hour and a half yet? No, an hour and a half. If you're watching this on Facebook, by the way, which I don't know if anybody is. I don't know why I'm bothering to stream to the Facebook. But it will stop at an hour and a half. It only lets you stream for an hour and a half. So come over to YouTube if you are. Twitch, I haven't been checking the chat. Anyway, I don't. Okay. All right. So let me just move right on. Moving ahead. Okay. So I want to do jump and add queue. So let me get set up for that. Desktop, p5.js sound. I really should still get a mixing board, though. I shouldn't let the fact that this now works stop me. If anybody has a recommendation for like an inexpensive USB, I think I need it to be USB with this Mac Pro. It doesn't have a like proper mic in type thing. So like a mixing board that I can connect to this Mac Pro with USB and then get like multiple audio inputs from like a microphone. Actually, my microphone is USB, but I could plug that directly in. No, it has an audio. So mic, maybe a headphone jack out of here, and then I could mix properly. But don't type it in the chat if you, just send it to me over Twitter or something, or if you're on the Slack, if you're in the Patreon Slack. Okay, add So let's do add queue. Okay, so what I want to do is, okay, so first thing I want to get this set up. So you guys think that 0.3 would be better? Oh, no, hold on. Just get this back to what it should be. Save. Oh, I completely forgot to mention, I'm such an idiot. I forgot to mention, I meant to show the index.html file and make sure you have the p5.js sound library, but people will figure that out, or I'll mention it in this video. Okay, so let me just get this example. I'm going to get rid of the sliders. Oh, I also want to look something up, because let me look this up under load sound. Because, oh yeah, okay, so good. Oh, no. If I do it the callback way, success callback, error callback, oh, okay. While loading. Oh, interesting. So I could do a percentage. Oh, cool. Oh, I should add this to my list. So I should add a, this is sort of separate, but percentage loading bar. That's something I could add to my list. Okay, but what I want to do is jump, current time, jump, and add queue. Okay, so let me put it down to 0.3. I can't hear it very well, but I think that's fine. Add queue. Excellent. I'm in the right one. How is this volume-wise? This is now at 0.3 and with me speaking. Oh, the negative rates. Oliver, who is able to fix everything, provide suggestions for everything, mentions that the negative rates are working in his browser. So maybe I did something wrong or what, but okay. Okay, so maybe this is good volume-wise. Okay, so I'm going to do another video now, and in this particular video, I'm going to cover the functions. Let me close this. I'm going to cover the functions. Hold on a sec. Sound file. I just want to remember what it's called. Current time, maybe. Yeah, current time in seconds. Jump is in seconds. And then add queue. Queue point is in seconds. Hold on, let me look at add queue for a second. So I can change text. Ooh, look at that. Look at this, fancy. Okay. Okay, great. Oh, starting and stopping playing with is playing. That's something I also should add. So let me, so the things that I forgot in the previous video, oops, I'm over here. The things that I forgot in the previous video are dealing with is playing. So maybe I'll make a button to start and stop it. And then we'll deal with jump and add queue, and also current time. Okay, great. Here we go. Welcome to part 2 of sound in p5.js. In this video, I'm going to stop this. This is no good. This is way too forced. I'll just leave I like the music on, though. Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my videos about sound in p5.js. Now, I forgot a few things in my previous video that I want to briefly mention. So the first thing I want to mention, and let me just mute this tab here, is that when you're working with sound in p5.js, you want to make sure that you've also got the p5.js sound library referenced in your index.html file. If you're downloading any of my code off the link on GitHub, it will already be there. But what I'm talking about here is you want to make sure that in addition to the a reference to the actual p5.js library itself, you have a reference to p5.sound.js, and you have that file in your directory of JavaScript files that you're using. I'm also using the DOM library for the sliders and that sort of thing. And that leads me to the next thing that I forgot that I want to mention, which is there is a highly convenient function that goes along with the sound file called isPlaying. And the isPlaying function just returns true or false whether the sound is playing or isn't playing. And this actually comes up a lot. We're actually going to see this in a future video that I have in mind where you have a sound effect that you want to like play over and over again, and you don't want it to sound like this. So you only want to like restart the playing if it's not already playing. And as my camera shuts off just as I'm talking to you. Okay, so let me come back over here and let's add a feature to this. Let's create a button. And I'm going to say button equals create button. And I'm going to say play. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to also then say button dot mouse pressed play. I'll call toggle playing. So I'm going to write a function now where I'm going to toggle whether the sound is playing or not. So I could just say song.play, right? So in this sense, this toggle playing is the callback. Whenever I press the button, the code in here will happen. So in this sense, if I just run this right now, you can hear the song is not playing, but if I click play, do you hear it? I don't hear it. Why is that? Oh, whoops, I'm already playing it here. What's going on here? Let's try this again. Hold on, we're going to make this work. Let's look at the code here. I'm loading the sound. I don't actually really care about the callback so much right now because conceivably by the time I hit the button, it'll be ready to play. Create button play, button mouse press, toggle playing. And when I press that button, I should hear song.play. Now I'm going to just wait to set the volume until here because I think that makes more sense too. Oops, loaded is not defined. So just in case, I'm going to have an empty call. I'm going to just say, I'm going to just log something to the console. Now the song is loaded, and I hit play. I muted my tab. I should really like edit this, but I'm just going to have to. It was good. I cleaned up my code a little bit. I muted my tab. There we go. Yay! Oh, I think I might have pulled something. I'm a little bit old and whatever. Okay, thank you, chat room, for your kind help. Okay, so I muted my tab, but what I want to do is, while it's playing, I want this change to pause, and then when I press it, it'll change back to play. Okay, so let's go back and here. So what do I want to do here in toggle playing? I want to say if not song is playing. Ooh, we're getting further in the song than we ever have before. So here, now you see, only if it's not playing, play the song. Otherwise, let's try song.pause. And what do I want to do now? I want my button to say play. When it's playing, I want the button to say pause. So now in addition to whether it's playing or not, playing it or pausing it, I'm going to have This video, by the way, is not about jump or add cue. I'll put that in the next video. This is just a follow-up video with stopping and starting and is playing. That's what this video is. Okay, so now I'm going to hit refresh, and you can see it says play, and I press play, and we hear the song. It's about to come in. And then I'm getting ready, I'm feeling it. Oh, we're playing, what's that, freeze dance? Do you guys have kids? Is that what it's called? Musical freeze? Whatever. So you're dancing, you're dancing, you're dancing. Then you have to freeze, and it says play. Okay, so you get the idea. So I can play and pause it. Now, interestingly enough, I used pause because when I play it again, it's going to pick up from where it last left off. But if I were to change this to stop, and change that to stop also, and hit play, oh, it's going to play. Now, if I press stop, it's like it's paused, but when I hit play again, it's going to have gone back to the beginning. So that's a key difference. The stop function stops it from playing, but rewinds back to the beginning, whereas the pause function stops it from playing, but keeps the play at a current moment in time. Okay, so I'm going to let this video end here. We added these features to it of just a play and pause button. That's what this video is, how to add a play and pause button. And the next video I'm going to look at jump and add cue, how to like deal with sort of time in a particular piece of music. Okay. Okay, people are in the chat are just discussing about the quality of their stream. Okay. Okay, so I'm moving along here. I got 2 tutorials down. That's pretty good. I'm like embracing the crazy in these particular videos with, okay, so I'm going to leave this in here. I'm going to leave this in here. And now I'm going to add another. This was not add cue. This was, oh, and let me put it back to pause. I think pause is better for this. Pause and pause. And, you know, when I publish the code, I should probably take out the set volume. It's really just that kind of thing for me right now. And now what I want to do is add another example. So this one is called stop and pause song. This is really play song, pause song, and then this will be a cue song. Oops, did I just open that MP3 file by accident in Atom? Okay. Oh, whoops. Ugh. I, by accident, saved there. Okay, so now I'm in cue song in Sketch. Yep. Oops. Cue song. Okay. All right. People are in the chat are discussing something that I'm not aware of what it is. If you have any questions for me, let me know. Use some emojis to get my attention. And here we go. So now, I'm going to look at 12:30 is, just so you guys know, around 12:30 is my time limit here. So I really haven't gotten nearly as far in these sound videos as I hope, but I've gotten started here, which is good. So what I'm going to look at now is, so let's see, what have I done? Preload versus callback, yes. Play versus loop, yes. Set volume, rate, and pan, yes. Is playing I covered? So this is really where I'm at right now. Jump, add cue, and current time. So this should be fun. Okay, sorry, I'm just fascinated by your interesting chat where I don't know what you're discussing. Okay, so let me go here to my code and maybe I'll add, where is the, well, I just want to look at sound file. I'm curious, maybe what I'll do to demonstrate jump is I will add a button. Oh, I'm in the wrong screen. Maybe what I'll do to demonstrate jump is I'll add a button, length, duration. which jumps to the middle. So duration is another important. I'm not going to switch the camera. I'm just writing duration over here. Okay. Duration is another important one. Current time, duration, jump, add queue. Okay. All right, everybody. Oops, I screwed up code. Oh, whoops. Should say play at the beginning. Hold on. Just fix that. Okay. Welcome to yet another video. What's going on? I forgot. Okay. But these fans are really working. I don't feel like overheated at all today, which is great. Okay. I'm just. Oh, here I go. I'm gonna. Oh wait. Let me cycle the cameras. I need to bring in some juggling stuff so I can juggle too. Okay. Hello, welcome to part 3 of my p5.js and sound tutorials. In this video, I'm going to show you how to jump to a particular point of time in a song, how to know where you are in the song, how to trigger a particular drawing to happen at a particular point in the song, all sorts of possibilities dealing with time and a sound file. So where I last left off was a simple example where I could play and pause a particular sound file. And one of the things I want to do now is add a button. I want to add a button here that's called jump, where when I press that button, I jump to a particular point in time in the video. So let me go to code. And in here, I'm going to show you a bunch of functions. So the functions that I'm trying to demonstrate here are jump, which allows you to jump to a particular point of time. And I said in the video, but it's a sound file, it's a song. Duration, which is telling you, which is a function that will, I don't know what tells you anything, but that function returns a value, which is the length of a particular sound file in seconds. So the key measurement, by the way, of time here is seconds. So if it's a minute long, you're going to get 60, and you're getting floating point numbers. So if it's a minute and half a second long, you're going to get 60.5. So duration is a function that returns the value, which is the total duration of a sound file in seconds. And current time is a function that returns to you the current time where the playback currently is. And jump is a function that sets the particular time. So if I were to say jump 0, that's like rewinding back to 0. There may actually be a rewind function, I'm not sure, but you could always say jump 0. So let's just look at a few of these functions. The first thing I'll do is I'm going to add a button, I'll call it jump button. And I'll say jump button equals create button. And I'm just going to say jump. And then what I'm going to do is say jump button dot mouse pressed. And I'm going to create a function called jump song. You can come up with better names. And then I'm going to write a function called jump song. I should mention, by the way, that everything I'm doing here with these callbacks kind of works because I just have one button and one song. And I'm using global variables to communicate across them. At some point, someone should remind me to make a video that shows what if I have like 10 different songs and 10 different buttons, can I reuse the same callback function? You also might see this function written directly in there as an anonymous function. And I think I've referred to that in another video somewhere. But these are some issues that could be coming up in your head. But I digress. Let me get back to the matter at hand, which is right here. I want to say var, I'm going to just say length equals song.duration. So what this is going to do is it's going to give me the total duration of the song in seconds and put it here in this variable called len for length. And then what I'm going to say is song.jump length divided by 2. So in that sense, I just want to jump to the middle of the song. And I could look at the MP3 file and figure out how long it is and just pick. I could actually just say jump to 20 seconds. Let's do that right now really quickly just to see. So I'm going to run this. You should see a jump button. First I need to play it. And then I can jump. Did that work? Listen closely. Yeah. I'm always jumping to that point by clicking the jump button. Now I could, by the way, this might be interesting, is to try this. Let's just jump to a random point in the song, right? Random is going to give me a value between 0 and the duration of the song. So every time I press this button now, let me play it. And hold on. Let's look, by the way, at, I'm going to make a variable, var t equals that random t for time, that random point in the song, and I'm going to jump to that. The reason why I'm doing that is I want to just look at it, see it in the console. So now, song is loaded. I'm going to play it. So that's 28 seconds. 2 minutes in. I like this part. Kind of addicted to doing this. Okay, whatever. Oh, yes, I think I'm knocking over things now. I got lost in my own, the music. It makes me lost in my own world. Okay, pause. Okay, so where are we? So let me look back at my list over here. I'm now talked about jump and duration. So there is a function called current time. So what if I want something to happen based on a moment of time in the song? So current time is always going to give me that moment of time in the song. So if I come over here and if I just run this, I can say song.current time. I can look at this in the console, and we're at 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Oh, I love this. I love that part of 9 seconds, so I could jump to 9 seconds. Lots of possibilities here. But let's say I go back and I add the draw function. And what do I want to do in the draw function? What I want to say is something like if song dot, and we're going to have a problem here, but let's see if that problem comes up. If song current time is greater than 5, then background 255, 0, 255. So I suddenly want to see a lovely pinkish background as soon as I get past 5 seconds. Now, I'm anticipating perhaps a problem because draw is going to trigger immediately, and the sound file might not be loaded yet. And so this might say I can't deal with this because the sound file isn't loaded yet. Maybe p5.js will handle this gracefully behind the scenes. I'm not sure. Let's find out. Oh, actually, there's no problem because I'm not even playing it at the beginning. So actually, it handled it gracefully behind the scenes. So I'm going to hit play and count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. So we can see that triggered something to happen at a particular point in the music. Now here's the thing. I'm showing you that just as something that you could use current time as a way of knowing where you are in the music, but actually there's a better way of doing that with this queuing function. So it might be more like something that I might use current time for more likely would be something like this. Like let me actually just set the color according to the time in the music. That's like a variable that's constantly changing. And you can see now, as we get closer and closer to 255 seconds, do you see the color changing? I don't know if this is working. Let's get the code while we're waiting. Song current time 0 to 55. That seems like that should work. Let's see where we are. Yeah, I guess 25 seconds isn't very much. So just to make this work, let me multiply that by 10. And we should see the color changing as the song is playing. Yes? Yes? No? Yes? I'm losing my mind. Do I see it change? It looks like it's changing to me. Oh, yes, it is. It most definitely is. I see a purplish cue coming in. Okay, so I went off. Hopefully you skipped this last like 5 seconds of me rambling, because what I really want to show you here, oops, and I lost what I'm working with here. So what I really want to show you here is how to use the add cue function. So song current time is a variable that gives you where you are currently in the particular piece of music, but you can also use something called add cue. So what add cue does is I could say song.add cue. And to add a cue, I need 3 things. I actually only need 2 things, but optionally I can have a 3rd thing. So let me start with 2 things. I need the time in seconds where I want the thing to happen, and then I need a function that gets called at that time in seconds. So I'm going to say function add cue 5 seconds. I want to add like a heart or something, but I'm just gonna call change back. I'm going to do something really not that interesting. I'm going to make a function called change background, and I'm going to call this function change background. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a random background. So what I've done here is I've added a cue to that song. At 5 seconds, whenever that song is playing back at 5 seconds, call this function change background. Whoops, not ready to play yet. If I ever press the play button before it's loaded, I get that error message. 1,000, 2,000. Oh, I got to 5 seconds already. So you can see, so I wonder actually if I jump, by the way, back to the beginning. I'm going to jump back to the beginning if it does it again. So at 5 seconds, I have to wait 5 seconds. Now I got a random background. I'm going to jump back to the beginning of the song. Does that cue occur again at 5 seconds? It does. So that cue is permanently in there, even if the song is looping, and if we ever jump back to previously before that cue. Now, let's say that what I want, let me pause the music. Let's say that what I want is actually at 5 seconds to change the background to blue. Well, one of the nice things about the add cue function is it allows you to add a 3rd argument. And I'm going to make the color blue. And what it does is it takes whatever that 3rd argument is and passes it into the callback function. So I can make that a variable called like col for color, and do this. So I'm going to make this at 2 seconds, just so it happens a little bit more quickly. I'm going to refresh this, and I'm now going to say play, and at 2 seconds, we should see a blue background. And now I can add another cue with that same callback at 4 seconds with this color. And I can add another cue with white at 6 seconds. And if I run this again, oops, we've got blue, turquoise, or light blue, white, and jump back to the beginning, and blue, turquoise. Right, so anyway, if you knew about certain like flourishes in the music, or you want a burst of particles to come on the scene, or you want to change the way, if you're creating a music visualizer, you want to, at this point of time in the music, you want to completely change what it's doing, this add cue function will allow you to do a lot more than just change the background, certainly. And in addition to that, the cues could be dynamic based on you reading the sound file. I mean, later I might actually look at beat detection, so you could have something happen like with the beat. But if you knew the sort of tempo and knew the moments of time of the beat in advance, you could create all sorts of interesting things to happen. In fact, you could listen to a song and kind of play along with it on the keyboard and save time codes, and then load that as like a JSON data file and have all those time codes trigger certain things to happen with a certain piece of playback. So there's lots of possibilities of here what you could do with sort of queuing and jumping along with a piece of music. So I hope you enjoyed that and learned a little bit about time in a sound file. And I'm not sure what I'm doing in the next video, but there's going to be a whole lot more stuff about sound in p5.js to come. Thanks for watching. Okay. Okay, so I'm at 12:10. I said 12:30. I'm at 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's not insane. You know, I teach classes During the regular semester, they're usually about 2.5 hours long. I do take usually a 15-minute break or 20-minute break, sometimes a 25-minute break. No, usually 20 minutes. And I also don't just talk the entire time. I do sometimes dance or more likely trip or hurt myself by accident. But so let me think about what could I do. Does anybody have any questions just about sound or any of the stuff I've shown so far? Let me look at my outline here. I guess looking at shorter sound effects would be sort of the natural thing to do next. Like all of this other stuff is, or taking a piece of music and hooking it up to like listen to its volume, make it responsive. I don't know what you guys are clapping about, but maybe you like that. Okay, let me answer a few of these questions. So Cirilla asks, what will you cover in future videos? So this is my outline. So I've really only gotten to the first two because I haven't done any of these other ones. It's three tutorials I've made so far. And then I kind of might want to do some more like project-based like things that people have been suggesting of actually making little sound projects. But this is what I'm going to cover. The next time I do this, unfortunately, might not be until next week. If my jury duty this week is only Wednesday and Thursday, I'll come back on Friday. But if I'm still in jury duty on Friday, I won't be able to come back till next week. Artur asks, how easily would this translate into processing? So there is a new processing sound library, and you can do a lot of these same exact things. This p5.js sound library is a bit more fully featured. It has a few more features than the processing sound library, but the API is largely the same. Let me just pull that up here, just so you can see it. And this is in active development too. So you can see there is a sound file object, and you can see that you can load a sound and all of these things like play, jump, cue, rate, amp is the volume. All of these things are basically the same in processing. So you can do those. In the chat is asked, is pitch and rate the same thing? Well, somebody who's an audio person, I'm sure, could talk about the distinction between those two terms. But currently, the rate function in changing the rate of playback compresses the form of the wave, and in that makes the pitch actually higher if it's faster or lower if it's slower. So this all has to do with the waveform. There are ways of making something play back faster, but then adjusting the waveform so that the pitch doesn't exactly change. But that's a bit above my pay grade, or certainly what I'm covering in these videos here. I don't know if I got that right. So how can we get amplitude? Okay, so this is a little bit like out of order of what maybe I had intended, but perhaps what would be worth doing here right now, since I've got this set of examples, is just plugging into the amplitude of this particular sound file and maybe drawing a circle tied to the volume. I think that would be kind of worth looking at. So I have to remember actually how to do this. And the way, so in that, if I come over here, button didn't work. So I think this will be my last tutorial for today. I'm going to look at the connect function. And the connect function allows you to connect to like some type of source that's going to analyze the function. All right, I'm going to keep answering some of these questions while they're here. Are you done with processing vids in favor of p5.js? Absolutely not. I am arbitrarily some days using p5.js and some days using processing depending on the topic. Currently, in my experience, the audio stuff is working a little bit better, and this is the very small, tiny amount in the browser. So so that's kind of why I'm using p5.js for the sound stuff. I know that there's some issues in particular on Windows with the sound library. A lot of those may have recently been worked out. You can follow the Processing Sound GitHub. But no, I'll go back to, for example, whenever I'm doing something in 3D, I'm typically working in processing. It sort of just depends. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so let me think about the connect. Okay. So let me, so I'm going to do song, I'm going to call this song amplitude. I don't know, I'll call it that. or I guess they're all called something song. So amplitude, you can see what I'm doing here. Making one more example, amplitude song. And let me get to Atom here and get to the code for this one. And I'm going to get rid of the cues. I'll leave jump. No, I'm going to get rid of jump too. I don't think I really need that one in this one. I'm going to make one improvement though in this one. So I'm going to get rid of jump, get rid of change background, and I'm going to leave toggle playing in there. I'm going to do something in this where I'm going to move. I'm going to move these two. I'm going to move these two lines of code into the loaded function. Let me see if that works. Whoops. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. So what I'm doing right now is, see how the button isn't there? The button's not there until the song is loaded. So I think that's sort of a nice thing to see how you can use that callback. So I'll mention that in the next particular video. David Sarma asks, can the play button be disabled until the sound file is loaded? We were like on some sort of Vulkan mind meld thing where I was thinking of the same exact thing. Anas asks, okay, there's a bunch of questions here. Is it possible to make a sound modifier that changes your voice in real time? Yeah, you definitely could do that. That's an interesting idea. Should take some notes on some of these ideas. I discuss topics and projects that I'm going to do in the Slack channel, so you can join the Patreon if you want. I'm like plugging that at any point that I can. When will I do the video about super shapes in 3D? So that's unfortunately not going to happen today. But I know that that's like a follow-up to the previous one, and it's probably people are hoping for that soon. Again, if I can get a session in on Friday, I'll try to do that this week. Can the play button be disabled? Yes, so I answered that. I should do more neural network and machine learning videos from your book. Yeah, I'm kind of afraid to do machine learning videos, but I've got to do it. So I'm going to be definitely pulling inspiration from resources that are, and videos and things that are made by Rebecca Febrink, who's from Goldsmiths in London, is doing amazing work in machine learning. She's got an online course you can go take that I recommend, and Gene Kogan has published a lot of online materials about machine learning. So I'll try to get to that topic also. Okay, so let me get to this last. I want to look at the connect. Maybe I'm going to just do this really quickly. So p5.js amplitude. Let me look at this. So I create an amplitude object. And then, oh, interestingly, it looks like I don't even have to connect it. If I just create that amplitude object, I can call get level. Let me look at sound file. Oops, that's the processing one. There was a function called, whoops, sound file connect. So for example, so I guess it does it by default, but if I want to like specify which things are connected to, let me just make sure this really works. So if I make an amplitude object, let me just do this really quickly. Amp equals new p5.amplitude. And then if I say console.log amplitude got level, this seems to be working. Yep. So I wonder if I'm getting low. I'm not going to get up. I'm going to get lower level because I've already capped the amplitude at 0.3. Okay. So this is going to be a really easy one to show you guys. I'll do the FFT stuff in a different video. Okay. So I'm going to do this in. I'm gonna do this in the video now. Okay. See right. Okay. All right. Okay, so here we are, everybody. I am ready for what will be it is 12:20. This should happen. So I'm going to do the last video tutorial of today. I think this is the fourth one. 4 is pretty good for a session. And this is going to be about analyzing the amplitude of a sound in p5.js. And you can see my mind is starting to melt here. And then I'll have time maybe to take 1 or 2 quick questions if people have questions. And is there something wrong? Oops. Thank you. Thank you, Oliver, again. Oliver, I don't think is an imaginary friend. Oliver, if there's a way for me to buy you a coffee or some sort of beverage that you like, please let me know. You've been so helpful. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to do this and then I'll answer some questions. Okay, so let me come back to here. Hello, welcome to one more video, but this is not the last one, about sound in the browser using p5.js sound library. So in this video, what I want to demonstrate to you is how to listen to the audio that's playing back and draw something according to how loud that sound is. So we can have a responsive shape on the screen responding to a particular audio. Now, before I do that, I'm going to add a little bonus tip in this video, which is that this play button plays my sound. So the sound is playing, it has a little, and I start to dance or whatever it is that I always do when this is playing. But notice what happens if I run this sketch and I hit play really quickly. Now, I get this error message, not ready to play file. The play button appeared before the sound is actually loaded. Now we know the sound is loaded when I see loaded in the JavaScript console in the browser. This is not something that a user would see. I have the console open for debugging as the sort of developer of this sketch. But what I can do in the code here, come back code, come to me code, here it is this, remember, the song is loaded, and the loaded function is the callback. And in the callback function, I am logging loaded to the console. But button is created in setup. There's no reason why I couldn't just take these 2 lines of code and actually put them in the callback. So the idea here is that I don't want the play button to appear on screen until the sound is actually loaded and ready to be played, but draw can start looping. So we can see that, if I were to put just some sort of, animation in here, can you see that? Or you can't see that. The play button doesn't actually appear until the sound is actually loaded. I apologize for the flickering. Let me just take that out. So you can see no play button, play button. And now it guarantees that the sound can play. So a little extra bonus tip here at the beginning of my jazzy tune tutorial about p5.js and sound. Okay, but now moving on. I forgot what I was doing in this tutorial. Yes, listening to the audio. Let me pause the music. So there's a lot of different things you can do in terms of sound analysis. The simplest thing is just listening to the volume of a sound. Is the sound loud or not so loud at this particular moment? Another word for volume is amplitude. And this has to do with sound being a waveform. If sound exists as some sort of waveform, the amplitude being the kind of height of that wave, the distance between the top and the bottom of that wave. So what I can do in p5 is actually I'm going to create a variable called amp for amplitude. And I could say amp equals new p5.amplitude. Now, this is actually now an amplitude object. This kind of, in a way, global amplitude object is just going to listen to the volume of kind of all the sound stuff that's happening with this sketch. There is a way, I think, with the p5 sound connect function, not connect like Microsoft Connect, connect like the word connect, like my fingers are connected. That particular function allows you to connect different analysis objects to different audio inputs and outputs. So there's more that you can do that's a bit more sophisticated, but by default, I'm just going to say make an amplitude object. And now if I run this sketch and I play the sound, I can look at that in the console. You can see I have this amplitude object. It has a lot of information associated with it, and I can call the function getLevel. And we can see I've got this number right now. So the current volume is 0.05. So the volume is going to give you something between a range of 0 and 1. But for the purposes of this video tutorial, I set the maximum volume essentially at 0.3 to lower the volume of the song so that the mix is a little bit better than me talking and the sound volume. So in that sense, the maximum value I'm actually going to get in this video tutorial is 0.3, although you might get 1. So, you know, the first thing I can obviously do here is perhaps do something like, let me draw a background, and then I want to draw an ellipse in the center of the window. And let me just make it 100 by 100, and I'll set the fill to something. So we can see I have this nice ellipse in the center of the screen, and what I want is for that ellipse to grow and shrink based on the volume. So I could say something like volume equals amplitude get level, and now I could just put that volume here inside the ellipse function. Do you see that ellipse? Is it there? Oh look, there it is. There it is. There's my tiny little ellipse responding to the volume. It's dancing with me. The problem is, of course, it's such a tiny number. So this is the perfect opportunity for us to use the map function. The map function takes a number with a particular range and maps it to another range. And we know the range of volume is between 0 and 0.3. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to make a variable called diam for diameter, is map the volume, which has a range between 0 and 0.3, and I want to map that diameter between 10 and, let's say, 200. Oh, my camera just went off. How will I dance with no camera? Okay, so here we go, right? Oh, and then I want to put diameter in here. So now, there's my circle. Oh, that's just the green. I was like, oh, am I drawing some sort of sound graph over here? That's just a flaw in my green screen. Okay, now I'm going to hit play. And you can see it being responsive. So, you know, you might start to think to yourself, oh, I need some sort of elaborate beat detection thing. But in a way, there's a lot you could do with just plain old volume. So you can imagine, you know, multiple sounds, multiple volumes, you know, having, when the volume reaches a certain threshold, having some burst of particles happen. This is just sort of like hello world listening to the volume. And by the way, I can also do this with mic input. So I could get my voice controlling the size of the circle, and I will definitely do that in a future video. Now, there is more that you can do with analyzing a particular sound, and that's something called a frequency analysis, essentially, and something called FFT, which is a means for taking a particular sound and looking at the amplitudes across different frequencies. So are the high-pitched part of the sounds very high? Or are the low parts of the sounds very high? So you could get a sense of kind of more about the sound through that, and I could have different circles representing different pitches and those pitches' amplitudes. And I'll also do that in a future video as well. Okay, thanks for watching this one, and there will be more p5.js sound videos to come someday. They might already be there, because you could be watching this in the future. Goodbye. Oh, is the sound loud? I turned it down so much I thought it would be okay. All right, everybody. Sorry about that with the sound levels. Hopefully they're not terrible. If they're really no good, I will... the sound being loud, do you mean it's my voice or is it the music? Is my voice okay or is my voice too loud? Yeah, I could definitely, you know, I just need to get a mixing board. Somebody who has some experience with audio stuff. This is what I want. I want an inexpensive mixing board that I can plug into a Mac Pro via USB, and then I want that mixing board to be able to have various inputs into it. Whereas I want to take like this lav mic, which has, you know, 1/8 inch, whatever. I mean, I can get adapters. I want that to go into the mixing board. I want to have whatever comes out of the headphone jack, maybe of this laptop, go into the mixing board, that type of thing. I don't know if that exists or if I need other equipment. And then I could have the mixing board right here on the table, and I could live mess with levels and do all that before it goes into Wirecast. So if anybody has experience or knowledge with that, if you're in the Patreon Slack, you can just let me know through a direct message there, or you can tweet me at Schiffman. Oh, somebody already did, they're saying. Okay, music too loud, voice is okay. It's high pitched at the beginning, so hard on the ears. So we'll see how many people on YouTube complain when I publish these video tutorials that the sound is killing them, in which case maybe I'll redo them. Yeah. Okay, well, I have reached the end of 2 hours, so I'm willing to take... I'm willing to take, by the way, I'm not asking for somebody to give me this mixing board thing. I just wanted you to let me know what to purchase like on Amazon that I could just have shipped to me. You know, I have my small little budget to do this sort of stuff, mostly with, right now currently, and I'll just mention now that I'm at the end here, you know, I have very low expenses. I'm paying a little bit for sharing use of this space that I'm in. I have hired someone, Mathieu, who does a wonderful job kind of editing and organizing the YouTube channel. I have a little bit of equipment expenses and that I want to purchase and that sort of thing. So I have ads running on the YouTube channels, which generates a very small amount of income. And I also now have, if you would like to support it, a Patreon, which is patreon.com/codingrainbow. And there I have a private Slack channel you can join to discuss topics and ask questions and that sort of thing. Anybody have any last, but you can, I'm totally available for questions on Twitter, suggestions, I'll take them anywhere and use them on the stream. So everyone's asking for a small coding challenge. Unfortunately, I think that my time for today is up. You're tempting me with this. If someone could think of a good one that I could do in like 10 or 15 minutes, I would definitely do it. I'm just see if you have any chat. Let me see if I have anything on my list that I could do that's actually really easy. Double pendulum. No, 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 no. Moving pixels video mirror. Did I already do that? I think I did that one. Yeah, Mandelbrot set I think is too much, too advanced, has to be easier. Has to be something I just already know how to do. No extensions, these are my topics. I need to do more Connect videos. Something with video maybe, in processing. Yeah, Mandelbrot said, I know it's easy, but it's not really easy. It involves a lot of, and I know I've done it already. People have been requesting it. Maybe I will do it. What time is it? 12:35. Okay. Oh, I definitely don't need, something game related could work. I wouldn't do the Mandelbrot set with OOP. That would be like a pixels thing. Let me look at while you guys are thinking of stuff. Somebody had a suggestion the other day, either on the Slack or on Twitter. Let me see if I can log into that here. Oh, right. I know what I wanted to do. Actually, this is kind of a good one to do like a little cloth simulation. I know that sounds like a crazy complicated one, but I think actually in p5.js, that could actually be kind of easy. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I should get in the habit of always doing like a coding challenge, usually at the beginning, not the end. Where's my chat? Pac-Man, you guys are frog game. Yeah, you guys are, what I have learned in my experience doing these live video sessions and tutorials is that there is no such thing, even the simplest game like Frogger, that'll take you a very long time to program. Now, I'm very happy to do that as a project, but that's not gonna, I like Taylor's suggestion of make a super quick, deep neural network. Okay, I'm thinking of doing the Mandelbrot set or a really quick and dirty cloth simulation. Let me open up processing here. It's not gonna, look. The problem with the Mandelbrot set is I really kind of want to review the math behind it a bit in my head before I do it, and because I would like to. I don't want to do the Mandelbrot set because that I would like to do. I'll do that the next time because I want to like have the math down to really be able to explain that as well as the code, as opposed to just kind of like doing the code, having the math memorized. And it's not fresh in my mind, but I'm curious to find it here. Koch curve is a good one. So here's my example that I made for the processing website at one point. And you know, I want to work out this math again because I want to work this out because I think this could be a really excellent Mandelbrot set video lesson. Okay. Everybody wants Mandelbrot. I'm going to do 3D cloth simulation, which is nuts, but it's going to happen. Because I'm going to use toxiclibs, and it's going to make it really easy. And I'm going to do it in processing. And I'm not going to practice it in advance, which is what I have learned that I should do. I can't believe you guys talked me into doing something else here. This might be a total disaster. Okay. I want to just get a few things set up. Like I want to, is toxiclibs in the contribution manager? I don't think it is. So I want to download toxiclibs. You know what? I need to do this in the video because no one's going to be able to follow it if I don't. Yeah, complete. This is what I want. Okay. 3D cloth that reflects the microphone input. Yeah, I know you guys want the 3D in P5, but in my view, there's too many bugs. So I'm happy to, I'll port the code after, but there's no way I'm going to be able to figure that out live, also with toxiclibs.js. So that's not happening. Okay, you guys are very demanding today. All of a sudden, I'm doing an extra thing, which is just kind of like a random extra thing. Okay, all right. Here we go. I'm going to cycle cameras. Okay. Let me see if I can fix this. I think maybe this camera just got poked. There we go. I fixed that. Okay. I think I could turn off the sound. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let me just get a few things in here already. I just want to at least get some things started here. Let me look at something. This is what I'm doing. Oh, I didn't install the library yet, but that's fine. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Maybe what I should do is just take this example and extend it into 3D. Nah, I can program this. All right, we're going to make this happen. I'm going to download the library. Just some. How I got talked into this, I'm not sure. hold on, let's. Oliver says, after this challenge, you'll do another one, right? Yeah, at a certain point, children have to be picked up from school. Lunch has to be eaten. Life has to go on. I have to get mentally ready for jury duty, which makes me very nervous. I want to just check something. Yeah, this is what I was kind of looking to do. Well, this is much fancier than I was thinking of making it. Okay. Let's see. Let me just look at the code for this briefly. Spheres. Whoa, graphics. Oh, I like to draw the stuff myself. That's the issue. Mesh. Update mesh. Init physics. Yeah, make 4 particles. Mesh add face. Sure, why not, right? Is there a mesh object? Triangle mesh. So that's a nicer way of doing it. But I'm going to do it a different way. Okay. All right, everybody, here we go. This is lunacy. So I'm going to do, hold on. I'm just going to add a little bit of code first. Okay. And then Okay. Here we go, everybody. You asked for this. Get what you ask for. I'm just going to add a few things. Oops. Okay, now I'm ready. I'm coming in a second. I'm just cleaning off all the sound stuff off the whiteboard in case I want to use the whiteboard, as I can think of a couple places where I want to use it. Okay, here we go. It's time for, whoops, this camera needs to be on. Okay, and I didn't even take a pee break. Okay, import toxiclibs, verlet physics. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Hold on, I want to just close this other stuff out. And here we go. Okay, here we go. Ready, everybody? Welcome to another. Okay, gonna start over and drink a little water. Here it comes. Welcome to a coding challenge. Now, in this coding challenge, some indeterminate amount of time, I'm going to attempt to build a simple cloth simulation. I'm going to use a variety of tools for this. I'm going to use something called processing, and I have a little bit of code that I'm actually starting with that I will talk to you about. It barely has anything in it. I'm also going to use a library called toxiclibs. So look in the description of this video, find the link to this page, download toxiclibs complete 0020, and you'll have the same exact version of the library that I'm using. Now, this library cannot be installed currently through the Processing Contributions Manager, so you've got to go to your Finder, you've got to go to your Processing Sketchbook, and go into your libraries folder and take that thing that you downloaded and put it in there. So I already have manually installed that. If you have trouble, ask in the comments. Maybe I'll make a side video that just shows you how to install toxiclibs. But once you have toxiclibs installed, you can go up into processing under Sketch, and you can go to Import Library, and you can go to, now scroll down here, toxiclibs complete, and what I want is verlet physics. I'm going to use the verlet physics library. Now, what is verlet physics? Why am I using the toxiclibs library? Well, I might refer you to my Nature of Code playlist that has a whole set of videos that covers the basics of what is verlet physics and the basics of how toxiclibs works. But the short one-sentence summary here is, verlet physics is going to give me a physics engine that has particles and springs. And I'm going to make my cloth essentially as a grid of particles. Now this is a terrible grid, but you can see it, that's a weird sort of spiral, and then have all of these connected with springs. So these particles all connected with springs, gravity goes into the world, and suddenly everything's hanging down cloth-like. So let's see if we can make that happen. So now, I have started this up already just with two array lists. I have an array list of particle objects and an array list of spring objects. Now you might be asking yourself, huh? Toxiclibs has verlet particle objects in it, and toxiclibs has verlet spring objects in it. So why do you have your own particle and your own spring objects? Well, the way that I'm going to do this, which is just a particular style, is that what I'm going to do in my particle class is I'm going to say extends verlet particle 2D. So I'm going to do this in 2 dimensions first. So I'm going to take the 2-dimensional verlet particle and extend it, and then I'm going to say super XY. So I'm using object-oriented programming inheritance. I refer you to my video on inheritance if you aren't familiar with this particular concept. And I probably have called this wrong, but let me look in here. I'll go to the Java docs here and look for verlet particle 2D. So what's wrong here in my errors? The hierarchy of type particle is inconsistent. Oh, I'm missing. I'm sorry, I'm missing. So little did I know that I am also missing some classes I need from toxiclibs core. So I need to also import toxiclibs core, which I actually don't need all of this stuff. So I could probably get rid of most of it, but I'm just going to leave it all in there. So there's a lot of extra import statements, and that should fix that error, yes. Because verlet particle actually extends something called vec2d, which is a vector, which I would refer you to my tutorial series on vectors, but I got to get moving with this coding challenge. So I've got now a particle, and the reason I want to do this is because I want to write a function that is capable of just displaying an ellipse wherever this particle is. So I'm going to say fill 255. I'm just going to have a white white ellipse wherever that particle is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write, let's think about our mesh as the particles being like 10 pixels apart. So I'm going to create a variable called w for each particle being 10 pixels apart. And I'm going to say something like for int I equals 0. Let me just start. I'm going to just pick. I could be thoughtful about the math here, but I'm just going to say, let me have 40 particles. And I'm going to say particle P is a new particle, and I need an x and a y. So I'm going to start x at like pixel 100, and I'm going to start y maybe at like pixel 10. And I'm going to make those new particles. And then what do I want to do? I want to add those particles to my array list. And now I want to say for every particle in my array list, I want to display those particles. So let's run this. And you can see, oops, I knocked over a light. You can see, I forgot to move them around. So I want each particle to move over by 10 pixels. And you can see, there we go. These are all my particles. So my particles right now, though, however, are not experiencing any physics. I want them to experience physics. So in order for them to experience physics, I need to create a physics object. I'm looking over here. I need to create a verlet physics object. I'm going to make a 2D one. I'm going to say verlet physics, 2D physics. And then in setup, I'm going to create that physics world is a new verlet. And I'll extend this into 3D later. I'm going to make a new physics world. And then what am I going to do? I need to say physics.add particle P. So what I've got here is I want all the particles to also experience physics, but they don't seem to be doing anything yet. OK, well, let's put in some gravity. So one of the things that's also available in the toxiclibs library is a gravity behavior. And a gravity behavior is just like a vector. And now I can say, let me add a gravity. Let me create a vector called gravity, which is a new vector that points where? Down. So 0, 10. It's going to point down. And I'm going to say gravity behavior GB is a new gravity behavior with what? That gravity vector. And then I'm going to say physics. And I guess that is a, what did I spell wrong? Gravity behavior. Did I spell that correctly? Oh, yes. Why does it not know what it is? It's ambiguous because there are more than one. There's toxic physics behaviors, and there's toxic physics 2D behaviors. So I'm going to go here, and right now we're going to live in 2D. So I'm just going to do everything in 2D. So that fixed that. And now I'm going to say physics.add behavior GB. OK, how are we doing here? Now we have gravity. Let's run this. Still nothing. Why? Well, I think I probably forgot a really crucial step. I made particles. I added them to the physics. I made gravity. I added to the physics. But I forgot to say physics. Move forward with time. So I need to say, I think, in draw, physics.step. I'm guessing it's physics.step. And let me run this. Whoops, I'm in the wrong place. OK, so that does not exist. So let's go to, in my documentation here, verlet physics 2D. And let's look at the functions. Get time step, set time step, update. OK, so I need to update, not step. Update. And should hopefully have some default time step. Yeah, there we go. Did you see all those particles fall super fast? Well, maybe I can make the gravity a little less strong. And you can see they're all falling. Now, they all just fell because there's nothing holding them anywhere. So what I want to now do is put springs between them. So what I need to do, I made 40 particles. And what I want to do now is go through and say, I'm going to go through that array. And what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to not go all the way to the end of it. What I want to do is I need to create, okay, so I need particle A is element I. So I want to get the first thing from the array, which is I, and it's with an array list, it's dot size. So I want to get particle I. And then I also want to get particle B to be the next one, I plus 1. And what do I want to create? I want to create a verlet spring 2D. So a spring is a connection between those two particles. Is a new verlet spring between A and B. And then I think the last argument, or there's two arguments, maybe there's like the strength or a minimum distance. I don't really remember. Let's go look here. I'm going to click on verlet spring 2D and look at the constructor. And it says A, B, length, and strength. So a default length. What's the resting length of a spring, right? If you pull a spring and it kind of bounces back, where does it rest? And then the strength, like how strong is it? So I don't see really a particular variable range for strength, so we're going to have to guess. So I'm going to say the default length is W, and the default, let me just add a strength of 0.5. Okay? And then what I need to do is add that spring to the springs array list, and then say physics.addSpring s. Oh, and I actually want this to be a spring. So I actually forgot that I have my own spring object. My own spring object just connects two springs, and in there, this should extend verlet spring 2D. And then what I want to do is call super A, B, and then W 0.5. So I want to make it a spring between these two particles with a distance, a resting length of W and a strength of 0.5. And then I also want to write my display function. And my display function is stroke 255, line between A and B. So what have I done? I now made my own spring, which extends the toxiclibs verlet springs. It's a spring that connects two particles, and to display it, it's just a line. So now we should be able to go back here, and I should be able to say, let's also display all of the springs. Okay, so you see that's falling down. Now here's the thing. What's exciting about this, now that they're connected with springs, is if one is not moving, the others should kind of stay connected to it somehow. So one thing that I can do is I can lock particles. So I'm going to say just a random particle. It's not a random one, it's the first one. I'm going to say p.lock. I think this will take this particle and lock it in place, meaning it never moves even if the physics moves. There you go. So you can see I have this nice springy string right now. So just from locking that first particle, let's lock also let's lock another one. Whoops, P1, this should be P1, this should be P2. I'm going to lock both of these particles. Here we go. And we have this nice little springy thing. Now, I actually don't really want to display the particles. I really just want to see the springs, because that's what I have right now. And I could maybe, just so you could see it a little bit better, I could make stroke weight 2. We can look and we see we have this nice bungee cord-like thing. Bounces and rests. Now, here's the thing. This is just a string, and I want to program a cloth, and I want that cloth to be in 3D. So I've kind of done the core mechanic here. In a way, I'm done. But what I need to figure out now is, okay, what I did was I said particle, 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 connect with a spring, 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 connect with a spring. What I need to do now is say particle, 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 and then have another one, another row of particles, and all of these are connected, and all of these are connected, and then they're also connected to the particle above it. So this is going to be a little bit trickier, but I think totally doable. Let's see if we can work this out in our head, and by our head, I mean my head right now. So one thing that I might like to do is, okay, so here's where I'm creating the particles. So, one possibility would be I think an easy way to do this would actually be to use a 2D array. So this would now be particles that are 40 by 40, and I always want them to start with x at 100 and y at, x. So let me think about this. So for the very first particle, we want them to start at x and y equals 100. For the outer loop, I will have be the columns, I guess. So first, the inner loop, we go down. So we always start with y is 10 here, and then y gets set back to 0. So y gets set back to, y goes up, y goes up, y equals y plus w. So for every I, so this is what are we doing here? Y, we start at x is 100, y equals 10. And then we go down all the y's. Then we increase over by x and reset y. So I'm doing this as columns first. I could put j on the outside, but this should give me a particle now. And I'm going to get rid of the springs. We should at least, and I'm going to get rid of the gravity. We should at least see a grid of particles now. OK, I don't see any particles because I turned off particles.display. Ooh, why did I delete that? I should have just commented it out. OK, that's perfect. I see my grid of particles. And maybe 40 by 40. Somehow I magically centered it with math. I don't know, by accident. 600 by 600. Yeah, you can see. OK, so there you see, that's my grid of particles. So now I need to figure out how to connect all of the springs properly. So I think for me right now, there's a lot of different ways I could do this. But I'm actually just going to change this to a two-dimensional particle array, which is 40 by 40. And honestly, I should 100% be using variables for those numbers, but just for simplicity right now, 40 by 40. And what I'm going to do here is, I just need to say now particles, I index j equals p. And I can simplify this. I don't need 2 lines of code here. Actually, no, I do, because I want to also add it to the physics. So I just changed to a 2D array. And then this no longer works, because I now need to, and let me make these variables. I'm going to make int columns equals 40, int rows equals 40. So I'm going to use those. And columns, because these are going to appear in a lot of places. Columns, rows. And because what I want now is to check to make sure it's working, I need this loop again in a lot of places to display all of them. I want to have this loop in draw to loop through the two-dimensional array. And this should be a dot, obviously. So I still should have, so this is not going to work anymore with the locking. I'll fix that. It's going to make things easier. So now, now I have my two-dimensional array of particles. Brilliant. OK, so what do I do now? Now what I need to do is take this loop and connect everything. Whoops. So what I'm going to do is similar to what I did down here. For every single particle, I need to connect to the right and down. So what I could do is actually, I only want to go from 0 to columns -1. And then rows, I want to skip every row, right? Because if I'm over here and I connect this particle to this one, no, I don't want to skip any row. I just don't need to connect back up. So as long as I connect each particle to the right and the below, everything will be connected. Yeah, this is going to work. And then we stop at rows -1. So this is actually not so bad. So I first need particle A1 is particles I, j. And particle A2 is particles I plus 1j. no, B1, A1 and B1. And then I want A2 and B2. So that's connecting to the right. And then connecting down is J plus 1. So these are particles A and B connect to the right, A1 and B1, A1 and B, and I actually don't need A2. I just need A and B1 and B2. So that one particle gets connected to the right and below. So how did I make a spring? This is how I made a spring. So I'm going to say spring S1, springs add to the array list and add to the physics. And then this should all comment out. It goes from A to B1, A to B2. This is spring 2. There's probably some slightly more efficient thing I can do here. But this is now me going through every particle and connecting to the right and connecting it down. So, and I can delete what I had here. And eventually I'm going to want to lock particles again, but let's run this one more time. So we can see, okay, all the particles there, they're all connected. Let me not display the particles anymore. So you can see there's the grid. There's the grid of everything being connected with springs. So what if I add gravity back in? Everything falls. But now what if I lock? And what I want to lock is what? I want to lock particles 0, 0 lock. And then I also want to lock another particle on the top, which is 0, which is the end, which is columns minus 1, index 0. So this, there we go. Whoa, look at that. Look at my crazy swinging hanging cloth. There we go. You know, I could lock one in the middle too if I wanted. So this is now interesting where we could start to play with this value, like the strength of the springs. You can see, whoa, the string is like, the spring, are really strong, probably way too strong. Maybe the max is supposed to be 1. You can see here, very different if I make this 0.01. Like, whoa, look how insane that is. Is it ever going to bounce back up? It's so weak. Look at the craziness that it's doing. But now we at least, and let me make this I'm going to make this 0.8, I think is a kind of reasonable number. So you can see there's my cloth hanging, and it looks very three-dimensional, but everything that I've done here is two-dimensional. So let's just see briefly if we can make this three-dimensional. Okay, let's see if we can make this three-dimensional, push forward in this particular coding challenge. I have no idea how long I've been doing this for, but you will know this by how long the video is eventually when it's published. So I'm going to save this. That was actually the 2D one, so I'm going to just save this as 3D cloth underscore. So I'm saving both of those. I also want to kind of clean up. Now I'll clean this up later. So I'm going to clean up the imports and all of that later. And what I'm going to do is sketch. When I publish the code on GitHub, I'll clean up all the imports that are unnecessary. I'm going to go back to Verlet Physics. And great. And I don't want the 2D physics anymore. So let's see now if we could convert this to 3D. So this should now be just a Verlet particle. And I should now say X, Y, Z. Let's not worry about the display for a second. And the spring should just be a Verlet spring. This should not change at all. It's just not a 3D spring anymore. And here, I should say Verlet physics to have 3D physics. Gravity behavior. And now this needs to be a 3D vector for 3D. And I'm still going to point along the y-axis for now. And everything else should just be the same, especially if I make that 0. And I'm going to say p3d. And I'm going to run this. So this should be identical. So this is now running in p3d. And it's actually technically happening. The math is happening in 3D. But I'm just seeing the same exact 2D visualization. And we'll make it more 3D in a second. So what I want to do here is first in Spring, I want to add this. And technically I should fix this. Like I should have this draw in 3D somehow. And I should say translate X, Y, Z. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to display the particles, so I can ignore that. So I want to run this and make sure this is still working. There we go. Now, let's think about this. What I want now is to maybe pin the cloth on 4 corners on the top and see it fall down from the middle. So there's a couple ways I could do this. Number one is, let's think about our view here. We've created all of these. I think what I want to do is at the beginning of draw, I want to translate to the center. So I want 0, 0 to be the center of my window right now. And what I actually want to do is, let's not use x and y anymore. I want to start, let's use x, which is horizontal, and z, which is forward. So I want to turn y into z. So x should actually start at -50. And this should now become z. And I'm going to have z start like kind of far away from us. I'll start it at -100. And then I want to create these particles at x, and I'm going to have y just be 0. So I'm going to create the particles at x, 0, z. Now let's see what happens. Ooh. OK, well, first of all, I want to let's take out the gravity behavior and just see if things look right. So it looks kind of reasonable, but it's sort of hard to say. Let's start z at -50. And let me add some rotation here and draw. So let me rotate let me spin around the x-axis by some angle. And I could add PZCam just to like spin around things. That might actually even be better. Oh, so it looks like all the particles are in a line. So what did I mess up here? Oh, this is, look at this. This needs to be x. Change both of those things to z. Somebody already mentioned that in the chat. OK, good. So now we can see my mesh. I don't have it in exactly centered in the right place. I'm going to just speculate. I have 40 particles separated by 10. Right? Do I have 40 particles and they're separated by 10? I should go back. I was going to say -200. Yeah. So I think -200. And let's just start it much further away. There we go. So you can see there is my mesh. Now it's spinning around. And let me take out this rotation. And actually, let me take out this rotation. And let me actually move y up. So I just want to move y up by like -100. So now, there it is. There's my mesh sitting there. That's my cloth. It's now in 3D. Springs are all attached. I should be able to put gravity back in. I forgot what parts of it I pinned. So we'll find out. And you can see, oh, there it is in 3D. It's kind of like a flag waving thing. Now, I was going to pin all the corners. So let's pin one more corner just for fun. So I'm going to pin columns -1, rows -1. I think now I'm going to pin 3 corners. Ooh. What did I? That didn't work. Isn't that another corner? Let's try. Whoops. I don't know why that didn't work. There we go. Now I pinned. So let's think about this. Oh, no, that should still work. That last corner. Columns -1. Am I off by 1 somehow because of the way I did? There we go. So I don't know what I did. So you can see there's my cloth now. It's a hammock. This is a coding challenge hammock generator. But you get the idea. Now, I haven't done anything with drawing here. I could really turn this into a mesh with begin shape, end shape, and triangle mesh. I could put lighting in it. Toxiclibs actually has these constraints. So I could put like a sphere constraint and have the cloth just fall on it and fold over the sphere and fall onto a ground. Toxiclibs has a lot of features also for turning these into graphics meshes and texturing them. But you get the right ideas. People in the chat are telling me, oh, it has no springs. I don't know. Oh, it has no springs. So I lock that. So that's what the issue is. That bottom right-hand particle, I don't actually attach it with any springs because I'm not doing diagonal springs. I'm doing this for a half an hour now that these cameras go across. So that's the reason why that bottom one isn't working. just to come back over here for a second, right? Let's say this is the bottom particle. These particles are connected, and these particles are connected, but this is not connected to anything. Now, if I were connecting them also to the right, which would be interesting, let's do that. I know this video was over, but if you're already watching this for a half an hour, you might as well watch it a few more minutes. But let's go and add particle B3, which would be I plus 1, J plus 1, and then spring S3. So now I'm adding a third spring. And then I can go ahead. Now first let me and lock that last particle. But let's take these out and run this and just see how it behaves. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, it has this like, it's sort of like off to the side because like the last particles aren't connected down. I really need to do the last row. So there's lots of little flaws here. That's sort of interesting to see how much that changes it. So I need to take that last row and connect down, but not to the right. You can see, look what I've done now, connecting them. I have this like mutant hammock, but you get the idea. I'll clean up this code and make it sort of nicer and have all the springs connected properly before I post it. But you get the idea here. I hope you've learned something from watching this video. I skipped over a ton of things that are part of toxiclibs and virulent physics, but I'll try to link back to my other videos that cover vectors and toxiclibs. But hopefully you'll be able to do something with this and create some sort of interesting simulation or project and share it with me. Thanks for watching this coding challenge. Oh, yes, the length. Oh, wait. Don't go. Time out. The length, by the way, of the diagonal ones should be different, right? Because they're not, that's why it's tending to the left, because their resting length shouldn't be W. It should be the square root of W squared plus W squared. So it's the hypotenuse of that triangle. But I'll fix all this up in the version that I publish. Now I'm really leaving. Goodbye. Okay. Oh, yes. Now I'm really done with that video, but there's more. Right. If I equals 39, don't do the right connection. There's lots of ways I can fix this up, and I will fix it up. Okay, everybody. I went way overboard here with the amount of time. I've definitely got to go. This is close to a 3-hour stream, which I said I never would do again. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm glad I was able to add. I'm glad you encouraged me to add this extra coding challenge. I will do the Mandelbrot set as the next coding challenge. If jury duty goes smoothly, I'll be back on Friday with the Mandelbrot set and more p5.js sound tutorials. Otherwise, won't be till next week or whenever my jury duty ends. Okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. Oliver, and I'll see you soon. I'm going to hit stop on the stream. And find me on Twitter, on Patreon, on YouTube, all those places you can find me. Thanks for your patience and thanks for watching. Okay. Whoop, lights everywhere. I'm going to hit stop.